Welcome to 2024, everybody. It's Valerie Ling here on a rather hot and balmy Sunday morning here in Sydney. It occurred to me that in talking about workplace stress, there can be a tendency for people who are trying to grapple with the idea of why does it seem so hard for people these days when a decade, 20 years ago, it wasn't that hard. We all just seem to get on with it. And I thought that that's probably because when we think about work stress, we're predominantly thinking about it from an emotional perspective, and that is from the individual's perspective, to say that if you're doing your work and you're putting in your best, then you need to have the ability to emotionally regulate yourself so that you can cope with the demands on your plate. However, if you think about it in terms of load bearing, it can change the way that we look at it and offer some insight and some empathy and compassion as to what is happening. So load bearing, if you think about the way that people build chairs or buildings or tables, you need to factor in load bearing. Now, I think lots of things factor into that. Environmental changes, the humidity, how it interacts with the material that you're using to build, the structure of the building itself, the way that plate tectonics shift. I've just been looking at a house, for example, and it was built 10 years ago when there were cracks in the walls and, things have shifted. And so very similarly, in terms of the way work has been designed, the what can impact the weight bearing or the loading on the individual has also changed. One such dynamic I just want to raise with you is the dynamic of reputation and shame. Now, it really doesn't matter anymore where you work now. You can be working remotely or regionally, but if you get a Google review that is really scathing or very negative, if you get trolled on your website, I too constantly I have 3 websites, and the comments that I have to moderate, in fact, it got to a point where I actually needed to switch off a couple of our contact forms because it was just overwhelming. But the degree to which someone can destroy your reputation, shame you, shame your family, sort of say all kinds of things about you has gone to like infinity and beyond. If you've ever tried to take down a Google review from someone that hasn't even been in your business, for example, it's virtually impossible. Things that are published online stay online. And if you're in a particular workplace with particular work dynamics where there's been a culture of ambushing and ganging up and really scapegoating, these things don't switch off anymore. We're beyond email now. It comes via viral text, messages that are going out that you don't even know. And so there's a level of really a sense of your level of personal threat can rise up. And so that sort of load bearing has been found in workplace well-being studies at this point in time to be a very real and very damaging dynamic in workplaces. When a human being experiences rejection, at a certain point, if you're feeling completely alienated and rejected by your group or your tribe, it can actually lead you to feelings of pain that are very similar to physical pain, right? So emotional rejection at a particular level can feel like physical pain. Now, if you think about the way that our body works, that level of pain, emotional pain, then interacts with all of our physicality and our biology, interacts with our immune system, and then you have some lasting changes, impacts, and even damage. So thinking about how workplaces have changed and how occupations have developed, we need to also remember that the way that we interact in the world has changed significantly, and therefore the load bearing on us as people psychologically has also shifted to the point where we can't ignore. We can't just say we're not built the way that we used to be built as people. It's the environment has shifted to the point where the load bearing can be really quite unbearable and even damaging.